and cross-border remittance. And I think we've heard that from the panel today. It's going to be really important that the U.S. leads in terms of putting rules in place. Other jurisdictions have done this, not just for stable coins, but for centralized markets. They go hand in hand. If you look at the top 4% of assets on our platform, it represents over 60% of the volume, right? And 2 of those are stable coins. If you look at the top 10%, right, that represents almost 80 to 90%. So again, let's focus on passing rules for the most important pieces of the market today.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Casson, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you all for staying here so late. There's been a lot of conversation about the serious end of crypto, stable coins. I'm going to focus on the silly end, the meme coins. It's funny, we have all these rules of decorum, and it is hard to talk about meme coins with the language that the industry uses to talk about them. I see you all smiling. We'll refer to them as fecal coins for the purpose of this hearing. Is it safe to say from your smiles that you generally share the view of the industry that this is not something that has any innate value, these meme coins?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Have any of you invested in, and again, this starts to get a little bit colorful language, the Hawk Tuah Girls coin? Have any of you invested in that? No? Okay.
They're fan clubs is really what they are.
Yeah, and I say that to raise a more serious point that, as several of my colleagues have noted, the President of the United States issued something that has no innate value. It doesn't have the value that maybe a Bible or a pair of sneakers or a steak or a bottle of water has. It has no innate value. It hit, I think, $75 at its peak the day before the inauguration on the 19th. Anybody know what it's trading at today?
It's a lot less, but I haven't checked. It was like
just under $16 when I was just checking here a moment ago. But like the Hawk Tuah Girl coin, it's really volatile. You know, you boost your Q score and it bounces up, and then people realize they're holding something worthless. The rise in value when it popped up, according to Chainalysis, so that it appeared to include a significant profit to Chinese traders, that 50th of the largest investors in the coin have made profits in excess of $10 million each, and the crash in the coin's price has caused more than 800,000 wallets to lose $2 billion combined. Now, as I understand the work that Chainalysis does, they don't capture any off-chain transactions. So, stuff happening at Kraken or otherwise. So, Mr. Yakum, is it reasonable to assume that the $2 billion in on-chain transactions is much less than the total loss that's actually been experienced from meme coin investors?
Well, Congressman, thank you for the question. I can't speak to the specifics of on-chain versus off-chain. I know for our markets, again,
but I'm just making the point that like the Chainalysis reports, they're tracking on-chain trades, right? And so we know, I mean, there's been like National Bureau of Economic Research that said that for Bitcoin, maybe 10 times the volume is off-chain. So if we know it's 2 billion on-chain and there's all this off-chain volume, safe to assume that the total losses are more than 2 billion, right?
Cooked.
Potentially, Congressman. I think
absolutely.
When it comes back to your question of the role, the value. Well, I think value is in the eye of the beholder, and a lot of these are sentiment-driven assets.
Right? Fine. Doesn't have any value. Now, I think there's a lot of conversation we can get into about what's the net worth, and obviously, like, the Trump family and the entities they control has gained a lot on this. But because we still have rules that commingle brokers and issuers and dealers, the reports are that, and again, according to Chainalysis, is that entities that the Trump family controls has made perhaps $100 million on trading fees for these coins, setting aside what the value of the coin is. And again, that's just based on the on-chain transactions that they track. Mr. Massad, you say you've got a comment there. I'm assuming that you would agree with me that the Trump family has probably made more than $100 billion in broker fees. We just can't track it.
We cannot track it. But Congressman, you're raising so many good points. And the thing about these are that, the industry talks about securities versus commodities distinctions. If I were at the CFTC today, and someone came, or 2014, someone came to me with the Dogecoin instead of Bitcoin, I wouldn't have declared that a commodity. Okay, it shouldn't be traded as a commodity. It shouldn't be regulated by the CFTC, maybe by the CFTC.